It's an amazing story. So there's this little boy, true story. There's this little boy, and in school, he starts to talk to himself. He starts to mumble under his breath. So his Rebbe, calls the parents, says, listen, I don't know what's going on, but for the last month, there must be something going on at home. Your son, especially by recess, and he's not a good ball player, he's muttering stuff under his breath. I don't know if he's cursing someone. I don't know what he's saying. I can't hear it. But there's something very wrong. I think he needs therapy. And the parents are like, Rabbi, I can't believe it. It's happening at home also. For the last month, he walks around in the kitchen sometimes, or in the hall, and he's talking under his breath. And we thought, it's a bad mannerism, it'll stop. But now that he's doing it in school, this is something very serious. Okay? We'll take him to therapy. So they take him to the best therapist. And he sits down in front of the therapist, it was a woman, and she says, Chaim, I hear that sometimes you like to talk to yourself. He goes, yeah. What are you saying? I'm not allowed to tell you. I'm not allowed to tell you. Why aren't you allowed to tell me? You're not supposed to say things. She goes, I know, but you see, mumbling to yourself can be very annoying to other people, especially in school. So maybe if you tell me what you're saying, you'll be able to actually come to me and say it out loud instead of saying it to yourself. I don't know if I should tell you, but if you want me to tell you, I'll tell you. So he says, my Rebbe told a story a month ago. And he told a story about a couple who had no children for 15 years. And they came to Rav Chaim Kanievsky, the Gadol Hadar in Bnei Brak. And of course the woman, he doesn't see women, he sees men. And the wife told the husband, I don't want a bracha, because it hasn't been working. I want a haftacha. I want a promise from Rav Chaim that we're going to have a child this year. So she sent him in on this mission. And he goes to Rav Chaim and he puts down her name and his name and he looks at it and he says, I give you a bracha, Bezrat Hashem, that you should have a child. He says, Rebbe, Rosh Hashiva, whatever, Gadol, you've given me this bracha for the last 8 years. I don't want to be a wise guy, but my wife sent me with a shlichus. I cannot leave here until I get a haftacha that it's going to happen. He says, I remember Rav Chaim. He says, there's a problem with your wife. There's a problem having children. The doctor, whatever you need to have children is not there. So you want me to do a nes. He says, I don't do nisim. I don't do nisim. I can't give you a haftacha in Shem Chal Nes. I can't give you a haftacha on a miracle. But I'll tell you this. Find a person who was embarrassed in public and didn't say a word, and get a bracha from a haftacha from that person, and you'll see miracles. His wife did not go for that. He comes out and she's like, you got the haftacha? He's like, no, but he said if we find a person that got embarrassed and he goes, go back in there and get a haftacha. Of course he didn't. He couldn't get a haftacha. And she was very upset that he didn't get a haftacha. She sent him on a mission and it wasn't accomplished. And she's like, this is not good. We're not going to have children. Okay, what could he do? Rav Chaim is Rav Chaim. You can't change his mind. 2 or 3 months later, she's at a wedding in Bnei Brak. It was from a divorced couple's daughter, and the woman, for whatever she did, whatever it is, she sort of was excommunicated, and she wasn't invited. The mother of the bride was not invited to the wedding. She decided she's coming anyway. So she comes to the wedding while they're dancing, and she walks in, and the mother-in-law, the ex-mother-in-law, sees her, and she says, sort of kamsa ba kamsa, what are you doing here? You ruined my son's life. You ruined my grandchildren's life. Get out of here. She's screaming in front of everyone. The music starts, everyone. This poor woman standing there. Her daughter's like ready to maybe dance with her in front of the whole wedding, in front of all the women. And she's like, could I just have one dance? One dance? I'm calling the mishtara. Get out of here. And everyone's like, and she turns around, this poor ex, she starts to run out of it. This woman standing there, she's like, wow, I never saw someone, oh my gosh. She didn't answer. And she starts running after her. And she realizes, I could get a bracha. Nebuch, the woman that was thrown out of the wedding. She thinks this woman who's running after her, right, is some woman from the wedding that's going to beat her up for coming to the wedding. So she starts running faster. You can imagine the scene of Bnei Brak. She's running, another one's running after her. Finally, she catches up. She goes, no, I'm a guest. She said, what do you want? Why are you running after me? She goes, listen to me. I don't have children for 15 years. I'm asking you a favor. Give me a bracha that I should have a child this year. She goes, me? I'm not even accepted by my family? My bracha is worthless. She goes, no. Rav Chaim said, I have never seen someone be embarrassed the way you were just embarrassed. I never saw that in my life. And you didn't say one word to your mother-in-law, your ex-mother-in-law. You are the one. Give me a bracha. I'm begging you, give me a bracha. She goes, listen, my bracha is worthless, but if you want a bracha, next year at this time you should have a baby boy, and don't forget to invite me. It's written in the Sefer Leilon L'Shabeach. Rav Chaim's brother-in-law wrote it, so it's not a book of jokes or stories. So she gave birth, and the husband went back to Rav Chaim and said, you remember what you told me? Yeah, we want Rav Chaim to be the sandik. Rav Chaim was a sandik by the bris, and they invited that woman. So the therapist says to this little boy, wow, what a story. What does this have to do with you? Listen, ladies and men, what you can do in this world. This little innocent, I think he was a 5th grader. Okay, a little teeny guy. Says to the lady, well, you don't understand. My Rebbe, every morning after we finish davening, he reads 10 names of sick people that we should say Shir Hamalos, we say a Shir Hamalos for. And I thought, after I heard that story, that every time a boy says you're no good, or he embarrasses me when I'm playing ball, or he calls me stupid and he calls me other names, instead of saying anything back, I'm going to mumble those 10 names under my breath. So I memorized every one of those names. Wow. Because if you get embarrassed in public and you don't answer back, you have the power to do miracles.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.